Hey everybody, it's me, John Anthony Chihawk Soltero. I'm the anti-hero, and I'm here to give you my top 10 comic book pickups of 2019. I'm following suit of a channel I follow, Draseer's Comics and Things. He recently did a video of his top 12 pickups. He couldn't limit it to just 10, and I actually have more than 10 comics here, but I did whittle it down to 10 finally with a couple of honorable mentions. So without further ado, let's get to my top 10 pickups of 2019. This just came in the mail today. Purchase I made off of Facebook. Wonder Woman 204. This is the first appearance of Nubia, who, most likely will probably be making some sort of an appearance, at least a cameo of some sort, or an argument for a cameo in the Wonder Woman 1984 movie. But would be a good character to have in the DCEU. Overall, just a great character and a really cool book that I picked up kind of as an extra to another book that's later on in this list. Number 9 is Marvel Tales starring Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham. After seeing Into the Spider-Verse, even though I was well aware of Spider-Ham, I really wanted to get this book. I was able to get it from Old Pueblo Comics at Tucson Comic Con this past November. So I'm just really glad to have this first appearance added to my collection. I also picked up the ongoing number 1 as well, and then later picked up the trade paperback with all of the books, including this one in it. So just a really cool addition to my collection of just a really silly character that just kind of sparks a lot of heart with me after Into the Spider-Verse and with the Bubba Patrol. So it's a great pickup for me. This is one that I've been wanting for a while now. And you actually see that guy back here, but this is Booster Gold number 1. A pickup in August off of eBay. Picked it up with a couple of other books, a couple of Hulk books. And this is a book that I've been wanting for a while because after I read Showcase, Booster Gold Collected, I just became enamored with this character. He's just such a peripheral character. He played a big part in Heroes in Crisis, but just a really, really kind of compelling character, even though he's not the greatest human being in the world. You kind of get an argument for him. I mean, he wants to be a hero. He wants it for the wrong reasons, but he becomes a hero. And that's really the measure of a hero, is becoming a hero. So having his first appearance is pretty cool as well. And if you see right up here, I got the DC animated, or the DC Classics Universe 6-inch figure with the skeets that actually opens up. This is one that I got off of the Collector's Territory on the Comic Book Shopping Network on Facebook from Presidio Comics. This is Uncanny XMen 121. It's a key Alpha Flight appearance, argument for first or second appearance or first full appearance. But I've become enamored with Alpha Flight because at the end of Avengers Infinity War, when Nick Fury actually signaled for Captain Marvel, I sat there thinking, how cool would that have been if that star had actually been a maple leaf? So this became a book that when it came around and came out for a good price, I decided I wanted to take it. This one, I forget the name of the vendor, but I did pick it up at Tucson Comic Con. I had a friend helping me at my table all weekend, so thank you to Kaylee, because she's the one who pointed this out. She came running back at the end of the show, and she said, there's a guy who's got Swamp Thing number 1 at his booth, and I'm not a Swamp Thing guy. I'm a Man Thing guy. And I'm like, I don't care. And she's like, I mean Man Thing. So ran back, and even though I have the Essentials Man Thing, and I have a couple of scattered issues here and there, and have picked up some more of the single issues, I'd like to get the entire run of the first 22 issues. I've got a good chunk of them, maybe about half almost. So make an argument for picking up the rest of them. But this is Man Thing number 1. It's also the second appearance of Howard the Duck. It's the first Man Thing title, although an argument could be made that Adventure into Fear kind of became a Man Thing book, but only for a few issues. I think 17, 18, and 19, and then it jumped right into Man Thing. Since Captain America Civil War, I've become a big fan of this character and have a couple of keys that I've added this year. This I got from Presidio Comics during the collector's territory as well. Black Panther #1. Great Jack Kirby artwork. I have the 2 trades of Kirby's Black Panther, but just a great key issue to have. It's in pretty nice condition. Great color still on the cover, but just so awesome to be able to add this to my collection as a nice key. This one I bought off the rack this year, and not only bought off the rack, read it, fell in love with the character, have the entire series, took it with me to New Mexico Comic Expo, turned it in or submitted it to CBCS, and it came back at a 9.8. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen this before when I did the CBCS unboxing. But here it is again in my top 10 pickups of 2019. Naomi #1. The A cover. This book, after a few months, shot up in price, also shot up in people wanting it. It's a key book. It's the first appearance of Naomi McDuffie. It's just kind of a special book. Great character, written extremely well, interesting story. I can't wait for season 2 of the book, and she's expanding into the regular DC universe, which is great as well. So also just really cool because not only did I pick this up on, off the shelf at Charlie's Comic Books, but took it all the way to New Mexico, 500 miles away, and still got it at a 9.8. So, just great overall pickup. This I also picked up at New Mexico Comic Expo. I will find out the name of the vendor. He's on Instagram. I think it's Steve Trev 23 on Instagram. But I picked up a couple books from him. This book I didn't even know I was looking for, but I've recently become enamored with 2 characters, that everybody knows about, but based on certain stories that they're doing, they've become favorites of mine. And so this is the big premiere issue of The Incredible Hulk, number 102 from 1968. Really cool to add this. It is a reader copy, which is fine with me. I don't mind lower grade books, but just nice to have something this special after reading Immortal Hulk and getting caught up with Immortal Hulk, and just liking the Hulk for being the strongest one there is. And I would say the dichotomy between him and Banner, but if you've been reading Immortal Hulk, just all the different facets, Joe Fixit, the Savage Hulk, the Devil Hulk, the Rampaging Hulk, the fact that he knows Professor Hulk is in there too, but he doesn't let him out to play, kind of thing. So having this is a super big key, and I think each one of these is keys, but this is an important book for me to have. You didn't know you wanted it until you saw it, and it was a good price, and Hulk is one of my favorite characters. So this is another one I got from Presidio Comics. Jokingly, Eric of Presidio Comics told me, he's like, I'm slowly getting you a really good collection of key Black Panther appearances, and he is. This one didn't even make it onto the show because he had it with him, and when I saw it, and I talked to him about it, and I didn't even let him put it on the show, and maybe 30 minutes into the show, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And it's Fantastic Four 53. This is the second appearance of Black Panther. It is definitely a reader copy, as he wrote on the comment. It's beat but complete. First appearance of Ulysses Claw. Just a great key issue to have added to my collection. And just becoming a big fan, not only of the Black Panther, but becoming better acquainted with Jack Kirby and the work that he's done that I didn't have an appreciation for when I started collecting, but I definitely do now. This is my number 2. This arrived today as well as part of the same package deal where I got the first appearance of Nubia. And this is Incredible Hulk 182, the third appearance of Wolverine. Got it off of Facebook from a guy selling a couple of pretty good key issues. He's still got some books out there, but he was needing to make some money to pay taxes on an RV that he just won. Didn't want to sell it, but it was also a really, really good price. It is complete. It does have the Marvel value stamp. Arrived today. It looks, it's about a 6. Looks really good. The colors are really nice as well. Just super glad to have this. Now, before I get to my number 1, which also arrived today in the mail, I'm going to do my honorable mentions, and I have 3 of them. This I picked up at Collector's Territory from Old Pueblo Comics, maybe a month or so ago. It was after Tucson Comic Con. It might have been the show directly after Tucson Comic Con the next week. This is Tomb of Dracula number 12. It is the second appearance of Blade. It is a reader copy, but it's like about a mid-grade, I would say, like a 4.5, 5, maybe something 5.5. The thing about Tony and Eric is they're real sticklers about their grading. They always grade down versus grading up. Some people grade up, but I really appreciate them grading down because you tend to get a little bit of a better deal. But I feel, and this is part of me being a business person as well, it's an honesty thing, and it just makes for better deals. And I actually got to show Tony of Old Pueblo Comics my pickups that I arrived today because he runs Collector's Territory along with Eric Frachin of Presidio Comics. And so there was an individual who bought some stuff from me, 2 sketch covers and some Bubba Patrol books. And so I had to meet him at Harley's Toys and Comics and sign the books for this individual and make sure that they get out in the mail tomorrow. The second, this is a huge key from this year, also a 2019 book that was printed in 2019, but it became a really big key, even before it actually hit the shelves, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 95. This is the first appearance of Jennika as one of the Turtles. I believe she goes out and fights in 96. I actually have a retailer exclusive version of 95 that was from the Kevin Eastman store that I got him to sign for me at New Mexico Comic Expo. But then I bought the regular cover of issue 95 maybe about a month ago, 2 months ago, from Charlie's Comic Books here in Tucson. And then the last of my honorable mentions, this also arrived today. And after getting OMAC 2, 3, and 4 from Tom's Comics at the Harley's Toys and Comics Last Minute Toy and Comic event the weekend before Christmas, I had to find number 1. And Christmas night, I ordered this on eBay. And it's OMAC number 1. Super nice looking copy. Got it for a really great price. They actually had 2 of them, and I was watching it, and then before I knew it, they dropped the price by like 5% and got it for even cheaper. And it arrived today along with my other books as well. So I'm very, very happy to have this, especially because now I'm really appreciating Jack Kirby and the creations and the massive amounts of contributions that he gave to the industry and the hobby that I love. And finally, and I didn't know if this was going to arrive on time, I'm super, super excited that this showed up. This is the first time I've ever purchased a slab book, and I got it off of eBay, and it arrived today, and it's a 5.0. First appearance of Wolverine, The Incredible Hulk number 180. Now, there's an argument that this may not be the first appearance of the Wolverine because 181 is the first appearance of Wolverine. Well, for those of you that know, Hulk 180, Wolverine shows up on the last page, full panel, full body. He speaks, and he even says his name. Now, if that's not a first appearance, I don't know what is. I definitely understand the argument that 181 is a more iconic book and that it should be more expensive. I have no qualms about that. But with Hulk and Wolverine becoming two of my favorite characters, Hulk because he's the strongest one there is, and he's also just so multifaceted, and Wolverine because he just never gives up. Having this book in my collection and being able to add it to my wall is just freaking amazing. I'm looking up at where my slabs are on the wall right now and trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. Anyways, I thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Thank you, Dresser's Comics and Things, for doing your list, which inspired me to do my list. So I will see you in 2020. So see you next decade. Please take care of yourselves. The holidays are still upon us. New Year's is often a hard time for us because we think we have to set goals for the following year. You only have to be as good as you are every day. And that does mean making strides, and that does mean making efforts, and that does mean standing up and fighting, even when you don't want to. But you don't have to meet anybody else's expectations, only yourself. So I hope you take care of yourself and you are safe. And I hope you tune in next year for more updates on my work on the Bubba Patrol, more comic book adventures in the four-color universe. And you have questions, want to subscribe, just hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think, and maybe more what you'd like to see more about, like reviews or reactions to things. But I thank you for tuning in. Hope you had a great 2019. And to quote a line from The Long Kiss Goodnight, for your 2020, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. See you next year.